Hello and welcome to What's With Healthcare podcast today. We are three nurses who have a combined 90-year history of working and observing healthcare in action. We come together for every podcast and talk about a topic related to the healthcare system from our different perspectives we've had from working and experiencing it. We're here to share this knowledge and our perspectives, and we want to hear from everyone out there who's listening in. We want you to help us to learn more and grow more and talk and share. That's why we're coming to you every week. We acknowledge and pay respects to the lands and the waterways of the traditional Aboriginal families from where we're podcasting from. So those lands are the Yugara, Turrbal and Darumbal peoples, and always was and always will be Aboriginal lands.
Hi everyone, welcome to What's with Healthcare for 2023. This is our first episode for the year, and so we thought what would be good to talk about today is, this is a time of year when we're considering our New Year's resolutions. Maybe we're starting a new job or something. Things are new in the new year, so how can we seat ourselves or position ourselves to get the most out of it and kick off the year well? And a positive mindset, how we approach the world and how we interpret the world around us is really helpful in that way. So Sue, would you like to tell us a bit more about what that is?
So a positive mindset is that thing that we carry with ourselves every day. So the positive mindset community is kind of governed, led by Martin Seligman, Barbara Frederickson, and quite a few others. But they're the two who get referenced the most. And what it is about, it's about that way we hold ourselves so that we can continue to keep moving forward in our lives. So it's that understanding what is a positive way for us to be, so that we have a growth mindset, we can keep moving forward. We can have those aspects of resilience. So when the tough stuff happens in life, and we know life's going to happen because we lose jobs, we lose people, we have floods, we have fires.
Change is inevitable.
We have change, exactly right. We have tragedy, we have suffering. And so if I have those things, how does having a positive mindset help that? Well, it adds to my resilience to bounce back, to go, okay, this is happening, this is huge. Okay, what have I got within me that'll get me to the other side?
And like positive psychology, it came from the whole notion of, what's working. That's the focus, isn't it?
And
what's broken.
I work? Yeah. And how do I work? Because positive mindsets, there's not one way of doing it, right? There is multiple ways, and my positive mindset is impacted by my world. So who I am is because I have worked really hard at learning myself and knowing myself. Who I am is because I've worked really hard at, understanding that I can be different. I can grow myself. I can achieve my goals. And when I achieve my goals, I feel better about myself. So these are all things that help me feel better as a human. So, but it's all different for everybody. There's not one method here. Yeah. So it's about how do I know when I am positive and how do I know when I'm negative? And so, what do you think you'll notice in yourself for those people who are listening in? How do you know when you're in a positive mindset and when you're in a negative mindset? Think about that right now. I'm just going to ask Isabel, how do you notice when you're feeling really positive versus feeling really negative and stuck? What does that look like in Isabel?
Well, feeling positive, I'm usually smiling. I'm usually moving, having fun, and I'm surrounded by people. Usually those people that makes me, the most happier are my grandkids and my kids. So every time I'm with them and I see them, I can feel, my heart pumping, and I feel my smile, and the whole body dynamic changes. And there are some hormones that are released, and you can feel, the happiness. So that's one way when I know that every time I'm with them, I'm gonna have that kick.
Yeah. Like a little dopamine or serotonin.
Dopamine and serotonin. Yeah, we all actually call our, the younger grandkid, we call him my antidepressant. Yeah, so he's my antidepressant, and just a few minutes of him, daily, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's one way, connection, being with my family, with my kids, that helps me with having a positive mindset and feeling happiness and joy. Another thing, and this is something that I do like regularly, I go to the gym early in the morning. That's the first thing I do. I prepare, my gear at nighttime, so in the morning I don't have to think about it. I just get out of bed, put my shoes, and go.
Yeah.
And having that morning exercise sets my mind for success the whole day. If I don't go and do exercise, I'm like craving it a little bit and feeling like, oh, is this gonna be a good day? I try to make it a good day, but doing exercise first thing in the morning, it actually do help.
So it sounds like you're stacking, one good feeling upon another.
Yes.
To sort of launch forth into the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that that leads to good nutrition as well. Trying to choose for healthier options and keeping that under control as well.
So when something significant happens in your day, like, I don't know, something doesn't go well, you might, you have something significant happen. How do you bounce back? And not get stuck in that negative event, like, what do you do to sort of shift that mindset so that you don't dwell in that negative moment, and you can kind of use your good habit stacking you've got there of, going to the gym and doing those things? How do you shift that?
Well, recently I had a disappointment, and it hit me like bad, and I was super sad. So what I did, I allowed myself to cry. So I went to my bedroom and I cried. And when I was crying, I was saying, I need to cry. I need to let this out. So I cried, and then I called my husband and I said to him, look, I'm going through this, but please don't tell me that you're gonna fix the problem or give me advice or this is not a big deal or anything like that. Just
Gave
be there.
First.
Just let me there.
No.
And listen. Just listen to what happened to me and what I have to say. And he was there, on the phone, and he did that, exactly that. Followed the instructions, understood the task.
Excellent.
Yes, and I felt so much better.
Yes, because you've got a really good relationship with your husband, and you could share that and offload and lighten the load.
Yes.
And talking about, so you took the pressure off him having to feel that he had to do something.
having to fix it, because he goes immediately into that mode, trying to solve the problem, and it wasn't for him to solve. I just needed
sounding board to process.
Sounding board to just listen to me. So that was really good. I felt good immediately, and then combining that with seeing my grandkids. And another thing that I do when I'm sad, or when I know that I'm going to, struggle, I do go on YouTube and I find my funny videos, and I spend some time laughing.
Yes.
Just watching, stupid things.
No, but
I spend some time trying, because that changes my mood. And that there's a change, and my kids also send me just stupid videos that I use for that purpose.
But laughing is like, it changes our brain, and it actually once again interferes with serotonin and dopamine, so it actually scientifically does its job. So good work.
So those things have helped, and for this particular situation, after I also the next day, after I spoke with my husband, I sent a message to 3 friends.
Yeah.
That because they knew the situation, and I got a phone call straight away, and that also helped because I felt supported.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt
Because you were really
supported.
part of the
Understand.
connected community
Yeah.
who was really having your back.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So-
Those connections are so important,
Yeah.
aren't
Well, and Martin Seligman talks about this in his PERMA model, and that's the third part of the PERMA model is that positive relationships.
Yes.
So the R of the PERMA model is all about relationships, but positive ones.
they?
Mhm.
So it sounds like you've got a great support team.
Yes, I do, and I have worked very hard to have those friends and those people in my life. So yeah, I pay attention to that, and I put a lot of effort into developing, creating, and maintaining good
Yes.
relationships.
Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Good, fabulous. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing
Oh,
that.
no, that's
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing
And
that.
Sue, how about for you? What's your
Oh, I'm
go-to recipe?
Yeah, so I do a lot of every day. I do self-check-in. I'm a real self-check-in girl. So I have a daily emotional assessment checklist.
And
I
what
know.
prompts you to do that? Like,
It's just a habit
Is it
now.
just-
It's a habit.
so
so
like
I
time
had-
of the day, or
Yeah,
like-
it's every evening, so it's the
Okay.
end of every day where I can reflect back on the day. And what I'm doing every day is I want to go, where have I held myself? Where have I held myself in the space of? So have I sat with that range of positive emotions, and in my negative emotions, because everyone,
we'll have them.
you all have them in a day. You know, we have 15,000 thoughts a day, and in those 15,000 thoughts a day, we will have a range of emotions. So where are the emotions that I'm sitting with? Are they sitting in that joy, happiness, positivity range, or are they sitting in worry and blame and, you know, negativity in that section? And so I have a scale, and, you know, if you wanted to look at that scale, you can pop on my website because I have it in my resources section. And it's something I created for myself, but it actually comes from positive psychology people and manifestation educators from other people, the Hicks couple. And I just use that as a tool to check in with myself. And then I look at that and I go, you know, in a day I might have had 55 positive emotions, and I might have had 20 something negative emotions, and then I you know, do my math and figure out the ratio. Now, if you don't want to, you might not like that system. You might want to go onto the Barbara Frederickson site. What's her group called? It's the
positive psychology, positivity meter, or
Anyway, the positivity meter. We'll put down on the we'll put the link
section,
in the comments section on our podcast page. So you can go there and you can just click on the buttons. So similar principle, and then it'll give you your automatic through your ratio. So Barbara Frederickson talks about that to have balance of positivity, because we don't want to be 100% positive all the time.
No.
Because that's toxic positivity. So what we have to have is a balance. So for every 3 positive emotions, there is a negative balance, and so that one negative balance, it creates that resilience, that, you know, that way we work, that holds us realistically in our world. And I think that's what I was really excited. I learned all about this probably about sort of 6 years ago now. And it was really quite evolutionary for me to own my emotions and to really start noticing if I was holding myself in negativity, well, that was on me. That wasn't on anybody else. It wasn't, you know, because my boss was an ass. It wasn't because, you know, the kids were annoying. It wasn't because of that. It was because I was reacting poorly to my environment.
because emotions are like a messenger for us, aren't they? So they come to tell us something, and we were just talking about a quote before the show. I think Tony Robbins is who I've heard attributed to it, that nothing in the world has any meaning but the meaning that we give it. So what else could it mean? Like my go-to response is think, oh, that sucks, or that person did this to me, or whatever. And then it's just to have a little bit of presence of mind, think, oh, hang on a minute, well, what else could it mean? And it could mean any other number of, not so negative things and not so blaming things, and it can help us to sort of step back and get that balance.
Yeah, and because sometimes if I'm noticing that I'm being particularly negative over a period of days, what's going on with that?
Yeah,
you know,
why are you
is
giving
it
it that
because
meaning?
I am just too busy and I'm not taking enough breaks in my life to really sit and mindfully and just breathe?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. For
Am
me,
I
it's
forgetting
checking my
to breathe?
period.
See?
For me, it's checking my period. Because if
Yeah.
I'm feeling odd for a couple of days and emotional, I got my watch and I got an app on my phone where I can track my period cycle.
Yep.
And I know that when I'm feeling a little bit sensitive and irritable, it's because the week before my period comes.
Yeah.
So the rule that I have for myself is to not make any decision that requires use of my brain, like logic decisions, and I just leave that for the next week. Yeah, that's a protective factor as well. Yeah,
Very insightful.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're taking the pressure off yourself and those expectations of like you need to make a decision now. It's
no, that
I've
can
been
wait
here
for the
before.
next week.
Yeah.
So I'm me 100%. Yeah.
And what about you, Celeste? Like, what are you doing to check in with yourself or, looking after yourself?
Yeah, so I've got a few things. Like in the mornings, a bit like you guys, have that ritual in the morning that really sets me up for the day. And part of it's around practicing mindfulness or getting out for a walk. I love my garden, and when I feel like I'm a bit, I get out into a green space. So if I'm home, it's out in the garden and just pull a few weeds, or like that. It can be enough. Smell the roses, smell the different plants, and it's very grounding, and I think that sort of helps me to process if I'm needing to give myself a lift up. What's something else? I've just gone blank on my whiteboard.
But also, like, I think, I don't know, when I talk to you, I notice you get a lot of energy when you talk about the farm and
that's our
connecting
happy
with your
place.
family.
Yeah.
So, I think you've got like strong relationships around you as well.
Yes, definitely. It's those relationships. There's another couple of hacks. One thing that I've known for a long time isn't, here I am with another saying, but you can't dance and not smile. Like if you're moving, dancing, whether you're just having a boogie, put some Bee Gees on in the kitchen and have a bit of disco around the kitchen.
Yeah.
It immediately will lift your mood, and there is evidence which I'll dig around and see if I can find, but that changing your state can change or changing your movement, it can actually change your state and your emotional well-being. So that's another good one. It's fun and easy and accessible.
Yeah. So I guess the message is today is all about, 2023 has commenced. How can you hold yourself in the best possible position to achieve whatever goals you have for yourself this year? I mean, you might want to change your world this year. So how can you set the scene to change your world? So start with positivity. Start with how have I got my life set up? How is, and thinking back to our podcast from last year even, how is my nutrition looking? How is my sleep looking?
Yeah.
How is my movement looking? For holding my mental health in place so that I can really build on this positivity mindset, where I am sort of like building that inner capacity and that resilience, so that as the year starts throwing stuff at us, because let's face it, the year will be throwing stuff at us.
Set our foundation.
Yeah.
I'd add to that, we were talking about relationships before, and it's like do a little mental stock take of the relationships that are maybe a bit one-sided. Maybe you find you're the one who's always on the phone listening to that one friend that's always giving you an ear bashing, but they're not there for you when you need someone to listen to you. So just think about that. How can you set a boundary there? I've got 5 minutes.
Look, and I'm going to be harsh. Like, I have removed people in my life because I just think, well, if I can't have a positive relationship with you, what's actually the point here?
Yeah.
So I'm not here to lift you all the time. Sorry. See ya. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that could be another little tweak for the new year going
Good
forward.
thinking on that,
You know,
actually. That's a
relationships
really good
that
point.
help us and that we help. There's a give and take.
Yeah, good work.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I guess, well, you know, do we want to finish up on a positive note?
Mm-hmm.
So Barbara Frederickson talks about positivity opens us up. The first core truth about positive emotions is that they open our hearts and minds, making us more receptive and more creative.
There we go.
I think that's a fabulous way to get into 2023.
Absolutely.
That's it. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy
See ya.
New Year.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you in the next episode.